Okay, guys. So my vSphere web client. How many of us are on the screen, guys? Please raise your hand. So most of us are on the screen. Guys, on this screen now, this is very, very important for all VMware admins to know how to read the screen, to know how to see the options and everything. So first of all, it starts from a home page. On a home page of a vSphere client, I have inventory and I have roles, I have system logs. Guys, when we connect directly to a host, so in this case, I'm connecting directly to a host here. So I'm connecting from 2000 Windows machine to the host. When you connect directly to the host on home machine, you would only see these three options. So even in production environment, when you connect to through a vSphere client to a host and you just see these, oh, sorry about that, just see three options, it means that you're not connected to vCenter. When you connect to vCenter, you would see more options on the home page. So when you connect to just ESXi host, you would see just three options. Now, your most of the time in this will be spent here in inventory. Roles is where, just like in Windows, you have local users and group where you can create local users, give them permissions. This is roles is where your local users are. And there are only three types of role on each server. There is no access, there is read only, there is administrator. Administrator has full access. Read only is just read only for view only admin, and no access has no access, which is nobody can log in. The people who are part of this role. Later on, we'll be creating users here through vCenter. So this is just to know that all ESXi hosts by default come with three roles, and which is number one, no access, read only, and administrator. We can create more roles. Now the second thing is this is system log. In Windows, they are called event logs. Event viewer in Windows, in here they are called system logs. In system log, it shows you everything what's happening on this machine. So you can show all, you can see more stuff. Mostly we don't go to these system logs unless we need to troubleshoot really deep down on low level. So if you cannot find directly something on ESXi host, then we can go into the system log. But system logs are these. So if I go back to home, so there are a number of ways you can navigate on the screen. For example, you can go onto home right from here. You can also, if you're inside, you can also go back from inventory. Actually, for home, that's the only way. So for home, we can go in this manner, or you can, for inventory, you can go into, actually, there are not too many ways here, but once we are in vCenter, we can jump onto this, yes? Oh, yes, from here, from the little house, and from the view menu, home. Okay, so alt home, view menu, and all these options, they were taken. Now, the most important thing here in ESXi host is the inventory. Inventory shows us that how many VMs are installed on this machine and how many what host are you connected to. So for now, I'm connecting to this host. Guys, just like any Windows server, the most important part is how do you go into C drive, right? When you log into a Windows server, you need to know where is my control panel. So ESXi control panel is just home screen. This is your control panel. Now inside inventory, this is your host, and within your host, most of the configurations are done from configuration tab. But before going on to configuration tab, now here this shows you getting started screen. For newbies, for people who just are installing ESXi, this is the screen where they can go here. So there is something called deploy from a VM marketplace. Now if you have a VM in the shape of appliance, then you can download that VM and then directly install it. So VMware marketplace is where you have ready-made VMs available. For example, if you need to have a ready-made XP machine, if you need to have a ready-made 2003 server, if you need a ready-made NT4 machine, if you need so ready-made machines can be downloaded from VM marketplace. Now, for that, you have to have internet. For that, you have to have internet. So marketplace will be exploring more as well later on. Yes.
Question is that the marketplace VM machines, they are licensed or we have to buy or just free?
Yes, it's a good question. So sometimes they are licensed. Sometimes companies make these ready-made machines to sell them on within the market. For example, there can be some special financial applications that are installed on special Windows server. They would give you a complete VM installed, everything ready. So in that case, I mean, and then there are some free appliances as well. Later on, we'll go through this. But for now, what I want to show is on the host there is some helping information. So here it shows you how to create a new VM. You can create a new VM right from here. You can create a new VM right from here as well. Just like VMware Workstation, you can just create a new VM. We're not creating a VM for now. We'll move on to the next tab, which is a summary tab. Guys, this summary tabs actually tells you most of the hardware related information on ESXi host. It gives you most of the hardware related information. For example, how much CPU do you have on this? How much memory do you have on this? How much memory is consumed on this? How much memory is available on this? So how much memory is configured for this ESXi host? 4 gigs. It is 4 GBs, and there are two CPUs with this. And also the manufacturer is VMware Incorporation. Why? Because it's a VM. If it would have been a real server, it would show you either Dell or IBM or HP machines. And here it shows you CPUs, you have sockets, how many sockets are there, how many cores are there, logical processors, hyperthreading is inactive. You have lot, and if there is vMotion enabled on this. So we went through this basics. What is vMotion? If there is vMotion, then this should be enabled. If there is HA, it should be enabled. It is saying not applicable. It is not configured. Same thing goes for fault tolerance, right? So as you can see, everything you can see from the summary screen, what features are enabled on this machine. And it also shows you that if there is HA, there is FT, or if it can work with vMotion here. Now, guys, the most important part is where we normally go to is just like in Windows. How do you go to C drive? In Windows, how do you go to C drive? My computer, and just go into C or D or E drive, right? In ESXi host, it's right here. This is called the My Computer for this machine. So this place shows you how many disks are attached to this. So here, for all of us who are sitting here, we have only one, which is called data store 1. You won't have the second disk because I have added a second disk for this, but in our case, it is just data store 1. Just like we discussed that in our basics, that it is data store 1. And if I add a second disk, there would be data store 2. But you can also rename it as well. You can rename it to anything. Maybe you can rename it to C drive. It's up to you, because this is just a label that is given to the disk. Yes.
And the size of the disk, that 32 GB that we see, where was this assigned?
So this was assigned. This was assigned when you installed the ESXi host. So 8 gigs. So 8 gigs are gone for the system, and 32 gigs is remaining for you to install VMs and everything. Because remember, when we create a VM, by default it gets 40 gigs, right? So 8 gigs out of 32 are gone for the system files that is ESXi is using, and then rest 32 gigs will be for you. And then how do you open C drive, or how do you open this? Just right click on this and say browse database.
Okay, sorry, I cloned this ESX server.
Yes.
I don't have a data store.
You cloned it?
I cloned it from a template I made.
Okay, and you don't see anything in the data store. So, and how did you install it to start with?
I did it a few months back. I created a template, and then I uploaded that.
How did you create a template? I mean, for a template, you have to have something first. Or maybe you downloaded a ready-made ESXi host?
It was 5.5.
Yes.
I created on the workstation.
Yes.
And then I created a template out of that. I removed, the networking and everything. So every time when I install it, I just put my own networking. There's no data store.
Okay, that's fine. It just means that it does not have a hard disk. So all you need to do is to go into your VM settings here. All you need to do is go inside here, settings of your VM, and then add a new hard disk. So you would go add a new hard disk, and then it would add a new data store. So guys, so this is my data store. This is my data store in which you would see everything. Now, this is how we can browse into the data store. All you need to do is you can go to here, select your disk that you need to browse and see what is inside. You would browse it, and inside you would see all of the folders. For now, I have some VMs here. That's why it shows me something, but for most of us, nothing is there. So let's do this quickly. What we need to do is, let's create a dummy VM. I mean, a VM without an ISO. How should we do it? All you need to do is go on new and create a new virtual machine, just like we create in VMware Workstation. So as soon as you go create a new virtual machine, so just create a new virtual machine, and this virtual machine will be called Canaps VM 10. Canaps VM 10. Just name it Canaps VM 10. It is exactly like you create a VM in VMware Workstation. So if you install this VM and move next, now it will ask you which data store do you want to keep those files. Remember last week we discussed that VM is nothing but a collection of files. So it is asking us. So by default, it would go into data store 1. We are sending it to data store 1. Within data store 1, just select the operating system that it will be. Later on, we'll be installing Windows in this. For now, we'll choose Windows and 2008 R2. So just choose Windows and 2008 R2. Next question, it is asking that how many network cards do you need on this? So for example, if you say I need 4 network cards, it would add 4 network cards. We can add these network cards at any time. For now, we'll go with just 1 network card.
The same virtual switch that
No. It has its own virtual switch. Remember, in ESXi host, it has its virtual switch, so it uses its own virtual switch. And I'll show you where that virtual switch is.
Because when we install this ESXi host,
Yes.
so there is the main window of this says that it has 1 NIC, but we have 2 NICs. One is bridge and one for Windows.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
But it shows just 1.
It shows 1 because the other one, other one is not enabled inside ESXi host. Okay, so for now we just need 1 NIC, and it should be connected to this VM network. It should be connected to VM network. That's the only thing. So we are not changing anything here. We just need to understand that this is the network it is connecting to. Next, here now it asks us, do you need a thick provisioning? Do you need a thick provisioning, eager or lazy or thin? So thin provisioning. So in VMware Workstation, all disks are thin provisioned. All disks are thin provisioned. Let's understand this for a second here. Now, ESXi host. You created a ESXi host. What were the changes made automatically in this host? When you created the ESXi host, what were the changes? Number 1, on a disk, it created a file system called VMFS, right? And this disk, it was a raw disk before. Now it is called
Data store.
It is called a data store. We need to understand these guys. So it is called a data store. What else? So on disk, it made these changes. And what else? On network, what did it do? On network, it created a switch, and that switch was called a virtual switch.
Virtual switch. vSwitch.
Virtual switch. It was called virtual switch. What else? It created a port, and that port was connected to the network card, right? So now, and then once we created this, so let's see this screen. Since I'm creating a VM, on this screen it is just saying that which network do you want to connect to. What happens is, since you have only 1 switch, once you create a new VM, and new VM has a card, and this card will be connected to this switch. directly. So if you don't make any changes, the VM is connected to the switch. And then the next screen is, this is the next screen. In this screen, it is saying, okay, so how big your VM will be in this. So this is saying your VM will be 40, but keep an eye on available space. So my available space is not 40. If I go next from here, it would give me an error message that you do not have enough space. So what I would do in my case, let's check. It gives me this error message. Actually, it's a warning it's a warning saying that your disk capacity specified is greater than the amount that is available. So it's not wise to go by this. What we would do, guys, we don't need more than 15 gigs on this. So let's check. Let's go with, sorry, on this one here. So 15. My available is 27 and 15 I need to go for. Now, the next question is, take provision, 10 provision, or eager.
Right now we are dealing with
VM creation.
no, we are dealing with the data store, local data store.
We are dealing with local data store. Guys, this question is about that when the disk is created for this VM, guys. This is very important to understand. When you're creating a disk, so what is the question? The question is, your disk will be thick provisioned, lazy, thick provision, eager, or thin provision. So the question is that when this VM is being created and the folder of this VM will be created here, what type of disk do you need for this VM? So this disk inside, that is the disk that is created inside this VM, what type of disk it should be? So this disk, should it be thick, eager? Should it be thick, lazy? And should it be thin? So the question is regarding the disk inside the VM. Now, let's start with the simplest one. Simplest one is thin. Thin provisioning means, we all know what thin is. Thin is like this thin. No. So thin provisioning, guys. Thin provisioning. Thin provisioning is that you would allocate whatever disk that you want to allocate, but that disk won't be immediately taken from your host disk. So thin provisioning is this. Thin provision. In thin provision, if you go for, let's say, I need 40 GBs disk for this VM, this 40 GBs won't be taken right away. Right away from where? From the host disk. From host disk or data store. Yes. Guys, this is the only type of provisioning exists in VMware Workstation. When you are in VMware Workstation, everything is thinly provisioned. There is no option of thick provision in VMware Workstation. In VMware Workstation, when you create a new VM, even 100 gigs or 200 gigs, it only takes what it is using. So if it is thin provision, although you're saying I need 40 gigs, but it is using only 10 gigs, so on this disk, it would use only 10 gigs. Is this understandable, guys? Everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. So now comes thick provision, and thick provision is opposite to this. Thick provision is, in thick provision, if you're saying I need 40 gigs, that 40 gigs will be immediately taken from your host disk. In thick provisioning, if you're saying I need 40 gigs, the 40 gigs of the disk, so if there is 40 gigs will be immediately taken off from this disk and given to this disk. So thick provision is this. In thick provision,
So what is the condition when we really need to allocate the disk?
yes. So for most critical servers like database servers, Oracle servers, SQL servers, we would go with thick provisioning. Exchange servers must 100% thick provisioning. All mission critical servers get thick provisioning. We won't go for thin provisioning. But let's say for print servers, print server, thin provisioning. For maybe some other servers that are not critical, thin provisioning. But for mission critical server, it's always thick provisioning. So thick provision is.
So can I allocate 2 VMs with 30 gigs each with a 40 gigs data store with a thin provision?
With thin, yes. In thin provision, yes, we can do that.
So,
but thick provision, you cannot do that because your total capacity is 40 gigs.
So what will happen when 2 they simultaneously goes more than 40 gigs?
Yes, and I'm going to go over that concept that is called the overcommitment, resource overcommitment. I'm going to go over that concept just now. So guys, we had thin provisioning. In thin provisioning, whatever disk you are allocating, that disk won't be taken from you. The only disk that the VM is using will be taken, and it will keep on asking for more and more whenever it uses more. Whereas thick provisioning, in thick provisioning, this VM, so VM is thickly provisioned with 40 gigs. And this means from your data store, this is your DS1, from your data store, 40 gigs will be immediately given to this machine. Now the big question is, what is the difference between thick eager and thick lazy? Guys, thick eager is, just like the word eager, we can remember, thick eager means that, so first of all, thick is this concept that it would immediately take this 40 gigs and give it to the person, give it to the VM. Is this understandable? Yes or no?
Yes.
Kind of? Okay, thick provisioning is a concept in which 40 gigs that you're giving to a VM will be immediately taken off from the host disk. Yes.
What's the benefit of it?
Yes, I'll come to the benefit as well. I'll just hold your question for a second. So I'll go to the benefit, but for now, let's understand eager and lazy. Quickly, just eager and lazy. Guys, eager is that it will low-level format this disk. So in eager, what it does, it low-level format the disk and give it to the VM. Whereas in lazy, it won't format it immediately. So in lazy, how do you spell lazy? Okay. So it's too lazy because you need to think, you need to write, you need to speak at the same time. So guys, here lazy. So lazy. That lazy is this. Lazy is this. Are we lazy in doing homework?
Yes.
I am. I'm lazy. Because
I know why you asked.
You know who's lazy.
You know exactly who is lazy. That's I know.
100% you are lazy because you didn't do the homework.
Even if nobody does, I'm
Lazy. Lazy. Guys, understand here. Lazy. In lazy, disk is not formatted but given to the VM. In lazy, disk is not formatted and given to VM. Now, what is the advantage over one? What is the advantage in these? Guys, the advantage is that in lazy will be fast provisioning. In lazy, you don't have to wait until the complete disk is formatted, then given to a VM. And either when you provide any VM with eager disk, for example, to this VM, you're providing 400 gigs of eager. Now, 400 gigs needs to be formatted sector by sector, track by track. It will take half an hour or maybe 20-15 minutes, then will be given to the VM. Whereas in lazy, it is committed. This complete storage is committed for the VM, but it is not formatted at the same time. It will be given, it will be formatted and given to the VM whenever it needs it. But in both cases, the disk space is gone. This disk space won't be given to any other person. So in eager, it would make sure that it is completely low-level formatted, and which will take time, and then the VM will be created. But in lazy, thick lazy, the disk is given, but the VM also starts. But it's not formatted. It will be formatted with time, with how much disk it requests again and again. So that's the difference. In both cases, the 40 gigs of disk is gone from the data store. In thin, this is not gone. And thin is like this. So you have a VM, and then you have a data store. You have configured 40 gigs, and it is given 40 gigs, but using 10 gigs. So which means only 10 gig is given to this. Remaining, it can keep on asking, oh, I need 2 gigs more, oh, I need 4 gigs more, and then it keeps on asking, and it will be given to the VM.
So thick lazy is more efficient, basically.
Thick, no, not efficient, but it is fast provisioning. The only difference is fast provisioning. How fast you can build a VM. So sometimes you need fast provisioning. It will reserve this complete disk for this. Now the other reason is that you would go with lazy when you go with thick, any type of thick, eager or lazy. In both cases, if this disk is not available, the VM cannot be created. So you must have a disk, then it will be created. Now we'll go back to your question. What is the advantage of thick provisioning? That was your question, right? So guys, number one, for all mission critical application, we won't trust the disk, or for all mission critical servers. For example, this is my Exchange server. And Exchange server is a mission critical application that we all know. It is a mission critical application. For this server, I won't rely on thin provisioning that it should keep on requesting the data store, oh, I need more disk. But in thin provisioning, we all know that there are 10 other VMs who are also thin provisioned, and they are also looking for disk space. So what if when it needed a space, it did not have that space because it has given to all other VMs. So for all mission critical applications, you would reserve this complete disk space so that they don't have to go and ask or request the host. So thick is this is the advantage of using thick for all mission critical servers. Actually, you know what? Exchange 2010, Exchange 2007, Exchange 2013. If ever you are virtualizing them, their core requirement is that all resources should be thickly provisioned. Not only disk, but also RAM. When we create, so to start with vSphere 4.0, Exchange was not even in the list of VMs applications being virtualized. So in previous vSphere, SQL Server, Oracle, Exchange, these were not in the list of the servers that can be virtualized. At that time, it was only, the concept was that these servers have to be only physical. They cannot be virtualized. But guys, with version 5.1 and above, 5.1 and 5.5, now we can virtualize everything. Why? Because now 5.5 and 5.1, they provide more features, more reliability features. And one of the requirements of all these mission critical applications, all resources should be thickly provisioned. This is written in their requirement document from Microsoft. Now, so disk is thickly provisioned. Do we understand this? Thick provision, thick eager, and thin provision. So in this case, we'll just go with thin provisioning, guys. Since it is our test environment, we'll go with this. Yes.
So you provision and for example 40 gig. Right, a machine is only using 30 gig. It's required more than the space. But space is not available in data store.
Yes.
So what's going to happen?
Then in that case, your VM can hang, or your VM won't get that space. So guys, the question is very important. The question is that what if we have a ESXi host and you have a data store, a huge big data store, a local data store or a shared data store from SAN or LAN. And you have these very, very important VMs that needs, so this is sitting here. And this is, so what is a very important VM? This could be your, let's say, vCenter. So I'll share with you that one of the issues that we faced just last week. So vCenter, we were upgrading this vCenter from 5 to 5.5. And upgrade process is very simple. All we need to do, put in the CD and then do the upgrade. While we were doing the upgrades, this completely hung. And the message we received on a vCenter, actually, since vCenter has to be upgraded, so vCenter has to be shut down because we entered the CD. So vCenter is not there. We were connecting directly to the host. On this host, one of the VMs was vCenter. So guys, so the upgrade completely hung in the middle. Now, it was hung due to the reason because LAN was completely filled up. There was no space here. Why? Because this was thinly provisioned. vCenter should not be thinly provisioned to start with, but somebody installed vCenter long time back. It was thinly provisioned. So this is exactly how it was. Guys. Now, if you can remember this issue, you can use that in interviews as well. What kind of issues have you faced in the real environment? So this is one of the issues that you faced in the real environment. What was the issue? You were trying to upgrade a vCenter, and then it completely hung in the middle. Why it was hung? So it was hung because the LAN did not have more space, and VM was asking for more space, but the LAN did not have the space. How do you fix it? All you need to do, go back to SAN, and where the LAN is provisioned, we all know that LANs are provisioned here in SAN. All you needed to know is to extend this partition or extend the LAN. As soon as you extend it with more space, it will automatically extend the space, and this machine automatically started working. So this is exactly the question you asked me, that since it was thin provision, to start with, this machine was configured with 100 gigs, and free space on this machine was 40 gigs. So 60 was used and 40 was still there, but it still hung. Why? Because when it needed more space during upgrade, it requested the storage, I need more space, and it did not have that space. So during its request, this completely hung. It did not give us any other message. Why? Because this had space. There is no issue with Windows, but the issue is with the storage. So since there was no space here, it hung, and then we found out, oh, the data store did not have a space. All we need to do, go back to the LAN configuration, extend more disk on this. As soon as you extended it, this had more space here now, and now it provided the requested space and it started working.
But what about thick?
In thick provisioning, this machine won't even go further. So, for example, if this would have been thick provision means that since it started with 100 gig, it should be allocated 100 gigs to start with. So then it would not have to go back and request anything.
Then what about the space of data store?
No, so for example, in the beginning, when you install vCenter and you said, I need thick 100. So what it did, it took 100 gigs from here and give it to this. Now data center will deal with its own issues. And from 100 gigs, it still had 40 gigs left. So this is not an issue with vCenter. It would be issue with other machines who might ask for storage, but no issue with this machine. So that's another thing that we need to remember. Thick is very, very important, used for mission critical machines so that they can get enough space. They don't have to go back again and again and request it. Yes.
So the vCenter was itself a VM, right? So vCenter was unavailable. So you directly connect with the ESX.
For upgrading, we have to connect directly. Yes, because vCenter is not there. It has to shut down, then upgrade.
So that case does not break the connection.
It will. because this is part of vCenter upgrade. So yes, so it was all planned. We know that vCenter has to go down, and then it will be restarted. It will be upgraded, and we have to reconnect the machines, reconnect the host. Yes.
So you said there's no space.
There was no space here. Yes.
You said you went to configuration.
Then we went to SAN. Then we went to SAN storage, and the SANs that we were using is EMC.
So that's a secondary storage.
EMC VNX 5200. This was the SAN we were using.
Storage.
No, it's a SAN. It's a SAN. It's a complete device. So, guys, everybody go on to. No, you can't go on.
How we can avoid this thing doesn't happen again? That instead of adding a space or do you have any other options that?
I'll tell you. So yes, so that's exactly the same question. So these are all of the SAN. So SAN has disks inside, and SAN has, then we carve out LANs, and then we go from there. So this is exactly the question manager asked us right after this, that how should they avoid it. Guys, the way they can avoid it, for all critical machine, it has to be thickly provisioned to start with, number one, so that these machines are not interrupted just because of space issues here. So give ample amount of disk here on a critical machine, and it should be thickly provisioned. Yes.
So once you provision a thing, can you change the code?
Yes, anytime. Anytime. Although thick will be changed with thin if you have more space, but thin can anytime be changed to thick, provided there is space on this. They can be changed. They can be interchanged. Yes.
Thin to thick and thick.
Both can be changed. Okay. So guys, here we are going back to our. So we were creating a VM here. So the way we were creating a VM, all we did, we went into here. Where's my VM? It's right here. Not this one. Or maybe I canceled it.
Recent task. It shows in the recent task.
It shows, but maybe I canceled mine one. So I'm gonna start again here. I'm gonna name it. So CanApps VM 10. So this is CanApps VM 10. We decided the data stored. Then we decided what type of operating system. Then we decided what type of network, just one network card. And next we decided thin provisioning. Thin, thick provisioning, guys. Please remember these concepts. These concepts they check you in interviews. What is thin provisioning? Why is it important? Have you faced any issues? So yes, you have faced an issue, and the issue was not with the VM, but with the SAN. With the SAN. And with SAN, you can easily go and extend the storage. So here, again, the warning, I would need to decrease this to 15. And then next, it would show you the summary, just like VMware Workstation, and it creates this VM. Guys, the next important thing that I want to show you is recent tasks. Everything that you do in vSphere client, you can see it here. Everything, each and everything is logged. For example, here in the weekend, you're moving some machine from one host to another. On recent task, you will see all activity. In recent task will give you deleted a VM, recreated a VM, it will show you that activity. You change some configuration, it will show you that activity. So here we need to remember that it is showing us that activity. Now let's go to, so here it says it is completed, my VM is completed, I can see this VM. Yes.
Is that possible where the two administrators can connect through vSphere to one host?
Yes. Yes.
So if one person is changing anything, we can see another side?
No. Yes, I mean, in recent tasks, you would see that somebody is doing something on the same host. Yes. So it is possible you can have multiple sessions to one host by different root accounts. So guys, here, if I select now let's see. Yes.
If I browse the data source, it also shows there. the new virtual machine?
Yes, yes, it does. Yes, very good. So guys, here my host and the settings here, and secondly my VM and the settings here for the VM. So the summary screen shows me only the VM settings. So I have the VM and settings here. I can power it on. Now the next question is, how do I see the screen? The screen is right here, which is known as console. So if you go to a console, the console is actually the screen where the VM is. When you power it on, so you should power it on now. Here in recent task, it shows you that it is completed, and here it shows you how it starts. Now, that's fine. I'm just showing you the console. So to the console, you can go on two ways. Number one is by just selecting the VM and here. And second one is right this one, here. So you can see the console right here. You can click this machine. It would bring it outside. So just like any other VMware workstation. And here it would give you a message saying that you have two active connections to this VM. One from here and the other one from here. So if I close this, this is a menu option, or you can right click right from here, and you can also go to open console. So you can open console and it would show you the machine right here. Now, since there is no operating system and we are not installing operating system at the moment, we were just trying to see that if VMs are there. What I want you to do, guys, create two more VMs in the same manner. One is CanApps Web 1 and second is CanApps Web 2. So just create two dummy VMs, which is right here, thin provision, both of them. This is CanApps Web 1 and Web 2. Quickly. Quick. I can see a disk here. That's fine, we'll recreate it. Where is your vSphere client? So just connect to vSphere client and let me know.
Let's say lazy eager, right?
10.
10?
10. So we'll go to storage, go add storage. And when you go to add storage, next, it's not something like if it would have been, it would show, right? So now there can be one reason that this ESXi was so that's here. Yes, you do need them. You need. So just restart the boot and go back to this page and add the status.
CanApps Web 1. There will be kind of cleaning up, or you can say it's a permanent cleaning of all information. You cannot retrieve any other information from this log. This log is completely different from this.
You can sort of set up 5.1 update 1 on or 5.5 with the server for error. You can see error as a page like a Microsoft Windows Server 8.5. .NET
5. Okay. So guys, now let's see the VMs. So now let's see the VMs. First of all, since we have a VM, so question number 1 is that how do you know it is thick provision or thin provision once the VM is running? All you need to do is to go to edit settings of that VM and go to the disk, and here you can see thin provision. If it is thick provision, it would show you it is thick provision. The next question is how do you change from thin to thick? Guys, there is no option in the console that you can change it. It is done through VCLI, which is PowerShell for VMware. In VMware, there is a PowerShell as well, and it is done from a command line. So you cannot change it right from here.
So there is a scale in vSphere properties of for the memorizable.
That's memory.
That's for memory. You are memory.
So let me check the other.
You are memory.
That's memory.
Okay, so guys, the next thing is let's go back to host setting. Now we know how to create a VM. Guys, the next thing we need to know, where is your VM sitting? Where is your VM sitting? Now in VMware Workstation, Harun, question for you. In VMware Workstation, where are your VMs sitting in C drive? How do you know where are your VMs sitting in C drive in VMware Workstation? It is in my documents in virtual machines. Excellent. Very good. And here we need to know that where is my VM sitting? Guys, this is a very important question because in real environment, VMs are not sitting in local disk. Actually, VMs are sitting on a shared disk. So we need to know where is the VM sitting and how do you know it? Just right click on any VM in that environment, go to edit settings, and in edit settings you would go to hard disk, and here it shows you where it is sitting. It is sitting in data store 1. If it would have been sitting in data store 2, if it would have been sitting in data store 3, data store 4, it would show it you here. Now, since I know my VM is sitting in data store 1, now let's go to data store and make sure that I see this folder for this VM. So I need to verify on both ends. So I would close this and then I would go back to host. Within host, I would go into my data store 1, browse, and within browse it shows me that VM is also sitting here. So now we know that how to find where is my VM sitting. Is it sitting on which data store, and also on data store where is this VM. Guys, the second thing is now let's go back to host setting. In host setting, on this side it is showing you what hardware is installed on this. Secondly, it is showing me what resources are there. How much CPU, how much memory, how much network. Guys, these concepts are clear? So yes, take 2 minutes, guys, and discuss this in a group of 2. Now these concepts, thin, thick, eager, and lazy, thick, eager, thick, lazy, we need to discuss in group of 2, guys. Make sure that you mention all of the points that are discussed here. So your time starts now. Just start discussing, guys. Person sitting on the right is listening. Person sitting on the left is explaining. Your right. So your left, guys. Your left. So it's fine, guys. It's not a test. It's not a test. So guys, discuss these 2 concepts. Anybody can start. Anybody can start.
Okay.
Uman? Yes, you guys can discuss. You guys can discuss together, please. Please. Quick. You have 1 minute.
Please, the VMs
Huh? Ahmed?
we go here, it's in data 1. Which is the hard drive where you can
Who's that other friend?
data store 1.
Oh, he still goes with you on trips?
The thing is,
Oh, he sits with you? Very good. So guys, quick. All done? All concepts done? Did you discuss this issue? Discuss the issue as well. Discuss the issue. Yeah, explain him the issue.
low level is the kind but in eager it will do the low level format and it will take the whole let's say, but in lazy it will only format what what it is eager it will format the whole thing. In lazy it will only format it will only
so, and here, to check the hardware reality.
Okay, guys, excellent. Any questions? So, my question to Talha is,
I may have a question.
yes,
Okay, in thick, lazy and thick eager. Now, if we're creating VMs, if thick lazy means it will,
immediately take the disk from host, give it to the VM.
but it will format or it will not format.
Yes, that's the difference. In eager, it will format. In lazy, it won't immediately, but as soon as it keeps on asking, it formats and give it to it.
What is the faster one? Like if you're working,
Faster one is lazy for sure. Faster one, but once the eager is all formatted, it is as fast as the lazy one.
Even faster.
Maybe even faster.
Sir, as you say, it's a mission critical application. That's
Yes.
like HCL. It's the issue of the time latency because the HCL won't wait to.
Exactly. Won't wait for request to the desk and then it would. So yes, it is a latency as well. It is speed as well. It is needed resources as well.
So we provide
Take provisioning. Yes.
So the
Okay.
sorry, so the lazy is basically you said format on demand.
It is format on demand. Exactly. It's a good understanding. Okay. Okay. Excellent. So guys, host. Let's dive into the host. Let's dive into the host. So guys, we are diving into the host. Yes.
So for the thing, it does this formats the whole thing.
Huh?
like but don't like.
For the thick protein. For the thick protein, it formats the whole thing.
Yes. Yes, it does. Okay. Done. Excellent. So guys, here. Reading the host is very, very important. Reading the host is very, very important because this is how you will start understanding any environment. Guys, you have a host. We are on getting started screen. If this screen is gone, you don't need the screen. Most of the organization, this screen is not there. As soon as you close it, it is telling you that if you want to close it down. It is just like the initial configuration screen that comes in Windows servers. If it is closed down, you can always go to client settings and always enable it again. For now, I would close it. So if you need to enable it again, you can go to client settings. You can go to here, show getting started tab. It would show it again. So this is one thing. Secondly, once you are on the host, on summary screen, it gives you a lot of information. We went through the summary screen, and the next screen is how many VMs are running on this host. So for all of us, there should be 3 VMs on this host, and it is also showing you that how much CPU and host is and memory is being used. We'll come back to the screen a little later once we install vCenter, but this is how we know on this host how many VMs are running. Secondly, in resource allocation, it would show us that how much CPU is being used by which VM. So if you click on memory, it will show you memory sharing. On storage, it would show you storage sharing. For now, everything is equally divided. But later on, there is a full chapter of resource management in which we are going to give more resources to some VMs as compared to other VMs. For now, if it is showing you unlimited here, normal here, and shares, for example, here it shows you unlimited, normal, 1000, and 33. These are arbitrary numbers that are assigned to share the resources. Basically, what it means is that all VMs are equal. Whoever needs resources, they would all go back to the host. For example, this VM goes, I need 2 gigs, and this other host, this other VM also goes, I need 1 gig. So they'll be taken as first come first serve. But if you change these shares later on, we're going to change them. For example, I can change it to first of all, I need to create those shares, then allocate them. I can say this VM is more important than other VMs. So if this VM is in line asking for more resources and all other VMs are already there, this VM should be given first resources. So for now, resource allocation, it shows that which VMs are important and which are not. Here, this screen shows that all VMs are equal. Next is performance. This is just like a performance task manager in Windows. It shows you overall performance of your ESXi host. Again, since this ESXi host is not being used much, it is not showing you high graphs here. Guys, the most important space in host or vCenter is the configuration tab. This configuration tab is exactly like control panel in Windows. So this configuration tab is exactly like control panel. You can see the overall health of this ESXi host is normal. The processor is normal. All sockets are working fine. And software components, all these services are running. They're all normal. If there is any issue, then you would see some services going down, and it would give you some alerts here. Now on processor, it gives you how much. So on summary, it was just a summary of what's happening. But here in configuration tab, it gives you more detailed information about each component. So processor, what type of processor is it? It is i7. It is i7 2720. Guys, in ESXi host, it matters to see what CPU is in your machine. Why does it matter to see that what CPU is installed on your machine? Because, guys, FT, remember FT? FT, fault tolerance, does not work with all types of CPUs. FT only works with some specific CPUs. For that reason, it is very important when, for example, in your organization, you are trying to configure FT, you cannot just buy any other famous server. No, you have to buy those specific servers that FT is compatible with. So it is very, very important. And secondly, how do you know that which CPUs are compatible with FT? Guys, for that, we go to a website called VMware Hardware Compatibility List. So this is VMware Hardware Compatibility List. So all you need to search is VMware Hardware Compatibility List. Within this list, all you need to do, as soon as you search it, it will be the first screen. And here in Hardware Compatibility Guide, it gives you a lot of information. For example, on this site, you would see all versions of ESXi host on this side, and on this side, what type of CPUs and what type of machines are you interested in? For example, I need to find a server to which FT is compatible. Okay, so what I would do, I would select the FT feature. As you can see, I can select a FT feature. I can also select any other stuff. Now, as you can see, FT is the only feature listed here. There is no HA because HA does not have those strict requirements that FT has. DRS has almost not a very hard CPU. DRS can work with all CPUs. HA can work with all CPUs, but FT only works with specific CPU. So what I need to do is I can say, you know what, I need FT plus, and I need FT in Dell servers, in Dell machines. So FT in Dell machines. You can further go and see that what type of CPU you need to select here as well. So for example, if you go to these servers, let's say if I search for our famous server that we use in our labs, and that is IBM 3650 M5. Have you all used this server? Yes, we all used it, guys. So I mean, you've seen it. So guys, here. So here, guys. This server. Now we need to know the specs of the server. So if you go into the specs of the server, here it shows you that. Let's see. Go visit this page, and let's see what type of CPU is this server made up of. So this CPU is maximum speed, features, cores. Here. So it is yes, Intel Xeon processor E5 2600. So this is the processor that is installed on this server. What we can do is we can find this server Intel Xeon processor E5 2600 in this list. We can go down in this list, Intel Xeon E3. We can go E5, and then you're moving down. This is your 26 Intel Xeon E5 26. So now, for example, in these companies, guys, you don't go to Canada Computers, you don't go to Tiger Direct, you don't go to Best Buy to just shop around servers. No, in these companies, they have specific vendors. When I need a server, I would place a request. Oh, I need 2 servers, very powerful servers. So they would send me these suggestions, and they sent me a list, and in that list it says that you can buy 3650. Now I need to make sure before buying the server that the processor installed in that server is compatible with the feature that I need. So this is how I found it. So I went onto the server. I know it is E526 version 3. And then I'll go here, and on this side, I would select FT. And on this side, I would just select all, and then I would say update results. As soon as you see the updates result, it would show you all servers that support the FT feature. And where is my processor? My processor should be, these are all version 3s. I can go next. These are all version 3. I can go on page 4, and version 5 is not there. It only supports version 3. It does not support version 5. So which means I need to go back to the vendor saying, you know what, I don't need this CPU. I cannot take this server. Bring me a server that has this CPU. Guys, this is just to show you that this is how informative we should have as being a VMware admin, that not all CPUs. So going back to here on the screen, it shows me that CPU installed here, i7-2720 QM. We can go and verify this information on which page? Hardware compatibility list, before buying these servers. So now it gives you some of this information on memory. It would show you total memory is this, system is using this, and your virtual machines are configured, are using this much of the memory. In storage now comes the place where we work mostly. So most of the time, guys, most of what? Most of the time. Most of the time. Yes, most of the time we work in storage, but most of the time, guys, most of the time we are not working in processor because there is nothing to change here. We are not working in memory. There is nothing to change here. But yes, we do work in storage. We do work in networking. We do work in storage adapter. We do work in storage network adapter. So these are the 4 main places where you as a VMware admin will be working, spending most of your time. You will be adding disk, going into storage, making them available, formatting them, and this is our next exercise. This is what we need to do. We need to add another disk to this VM, and then we're going to come back to the configuration, and then we're going to add that new storage to our ESXi host. But remember, but what? Remember, some people are troubleshooting. Are you guys stuck somewhere? And not working? Okay. Yes. Oh, it's working? Good. So excellent. So guys, this is what we need to do. Now, our exercise is that in storage, I can see 2 hosts, but you all can see only 1. Yep. So how to add a new disk in a ESXi host? All you need to do, think this is a physical server. All you need to do, we need to go back to the VM settings, and then go to settings of this VM outside. Now, remember, I am going to the setting of my vSphere client where I don't need to add. I need to add it on ESXi host. So remember where you add the disk to. I need a disk on ESXi host, not on Windows machine. So I'll go to my Windows ESXi. In ESXi, I'll go to, so first of all, let's see what is inside. In this, I have 2 disks. So one is 40, the other one is 2. So guys, let's add 5 gigs of disk to this host. So you will go to add, and then yes, and then you would select the hard disk, and within hard disk you would keep it selected as iSCSI, and then next, and create a new virtual disk. So for now, I'm just going default values, built-in values. I'm not changing anything. Here it is asking me how much disk do you need. So here I would say I need 5 gigs. I need 5 because we need disk for other hosts as well. So that's why we're just testing out how to add. We'll go with single file. It doesn't matter if you go with multiple files. It's all good. Next. And here would name it properly. And next. It is done. So guys, this is part 1. This is part 1. You just added a disk from outside. In real servers, you bought a new disk from the market and you inserted it in a server. Once it is done, guys, then the second thing that we need to know, the second thing we need to do, just like what we do in Windows servers. You add a disk in Windows Server, it won't be workable unless you go to computer configuration and format it. So in the same manner, I'll go into vCenter, and then I'll go into configuration. I'll go into storage. Within storage, it doesn't show me that disk. How does it show? I need to add storage. As soon as you add storage, so add storage, and then next, and then it's not showing me anything. So what I need to do is rescan. As soon as you go rescan this, and then again, one more time, you will go inside and you will see it is trying to load. Yes, it will take time. Yep. So guys, it will show the disk, but sometimes, guys, you need to restart the machine as well. Especially in network card. In network card, when you add a new network card, you must restart the ESXi host. Here it is added it. So guys, once it gives you the disk, second, it is asking you what type of VMFS do you need, 5 or 3? Since we don't have 3 in this environment, guys, we would go with 5. So
can you just, I got the rescan. How you can
so add storage. Here, it's right here. So have you selected the storage? So once it is done, we can see the disk, and next, and VMFS5, and next. Now we need to name it. So let's say data store 2. Data store 2. So it is data store 2, and next, and we are formatting the complete capacity. What you can do, you can create more logical disk out of this one disk. For example, if this would have been 1 terabyte, you can divide it into 2. Data store 2 is 500, data store 3 is 500. So you can divide, but here we're going to use maximum available disk, and next it's all done. Now again, what we do in all operations, you did something, we need to verify it. So how do you verify it? It is right here. Yes, it is showing me I have a new disk. And secondly, I'll go back to my summary page, and on summary page it should also be here. On summary page it should also be here. So guys, this is how we add a disk. So guys, quickly in 1 minute, add another disk called data store 50. Data store 50 with 5 gigs. Data store 50 with 5 gigs. Quick.
But you're still not showing, you just added one. Which one? Even after this step? It's not showing. Did you add it? Yeah, it's not in here. So let's restart. Oh, hold on. Did you add it to the VCP? I can see only one. Second, but still I have C1.
Create a new version or existing or
Yes, yes, just go with default. Yes.
Just
Sorry. 5 gig. 5 gig, 5 gig, 5 gig. Who will have the which contract? It's server copy.
Download the document for application.
Yes, 15.
It's not.
Sounds good.
So you do it. Okay. So we use 3 if there are 3.
Okay guys, next one. Once the disk is added, the next configuration is networking. The next configuration is networking. So, networking. So guys, here, host, configuration, and networking. Now, in networking, this is how it looks like. Okay, so now it should look like this. So in networking, guys, let's see how do we read it. So in order to read it, in order to understand it, what we need to do, networking. Within networking, this is my standard switch, and the switch name is vSwitch0. This is very important to know what switch are you working on. So this is vSwitch0. Within vSwitch, you can remove this switch. You can also go into the properties of this switch. Here, it shows you a network card that is connected to this switch. So this exactly mimics what we have here. So this is my ESXi host. This is my ESX. This is switch, and the switch is right here. So switch, and switch is connected to my network card, and this is the network card that is connected to a switch. Now, as we discussed last time, there is no network card on network, there is no IP address on network card, right? So as you can see, IP address is not on the network card, but the IP address is on a port, on this management port. So these are all ports here. You have one VM port, you have this VM is connected to this port. This VM is connected to this port. This VM is connected to, so these are all of the ports, and with one of the ports you have management port, which is this one. Management port connected to the card, and this is the IP address is configured on a management port, guys. And this card acts as a uplink. Now, all we need to do here, now there is more depth into this. What is in the vSwitch? How do you add a vSwitch? How do you add more ports? How do you manage switches? There is a complete chapter we're going to go through, but for now, all we need to do is to add another uplink. So my problem is, the issue that I'm facing on this server is that server's networking is slow. Why is it slow? Because this one network card cannot keep up with these VMs. These VMs need more bandwidth. So the only bandwidth I am getting is this, which is 1 gig. So each card is 1 gig card. So this is, and we're going to add one more card. So here I need to give one more card to this. So guys, when you need one more card, now card is not added right from the screen. You cannot add a card right from the screen. The card is added from network adapters. So if you go to network adapters, here I see 4 network cards here. Why? Because on this host, I have these 4 network cards. So again, the same thing, all of you have one network card. Let's add another network card. How do you add another network card? All you need to do, go to the host again, one more time. Within the host, now go to the settings. Within settings, I can see 4 network cards. You need to add one more network card. So let's add one more network card. So, and you know what? I'll just remove these cards in my side, on my side. Guys, when you add or remove a network card, you must restart a host. That is a must in network cards. So let's add a new network card. So when you are adding a new network card, you need to make sure what switch that you are connecting to in VMware Workstation. In real environments, it would be different. You will be connecting mostly to one switch. So these switches issues are not in real environment. But here I need to make sure that it is on host only and on the same network as my other VMs. So next, once it is added now. And then all I need to do is, once it is added, I would need to go back. It won't restart automatically. Now, before restarting, let me go back to our vSphere client. Guys, as you can see, all configurations are done from vSphere client. You cannot do these configuration on host. So here, once I go back here, in this screen, there is nothing for adding new network cards here. So you don't have add, remove, or something. This information is automatically updated when your ESXi host is restarting. But now understand this point. When it is restarted, it will be disconnected, right? It will be disconnected from vSphere client because it is restarting. As soon as it reconnects, it will refresh all configuration from ESXi host. So guys, now let's go and restart this ESXi host. Now there are 2 ways to restart this ESXi host. You can always go and power off, but this is not the best way to do it. The best way is right here on the screen, which is F12. On this corner, on your you can do it exactly. You can do it from client as well. Yes, so this is one way. You can go by F12, or we can go by client as well. Within the client, you can go to
in the summary, you have on the bottom side
here. Yes, right. So you can do it from here as well, or if it is not accessing it, guys. Sometimes what happens is the link is broken between vSphere client and ESXi host. For that reason, we must know how to properly restart from host side as well. So yes, you can just send a message to reboot. I'll just reboot it, and here you can just write a reason. Added a network card, added a NIC. So this would go in logs, As soon as it is done, now look at your ESXi host. It should restart now.
So if you shut it down, no way to turn on.
Huh?
If you shut,
Yes, that's another issue. That if you shut it down, there is no way you can again restart from the console. So, and it's not restarting. Why is it not restarting?
It's gonna take time. See the console? Open the console.
The client restarts automatically. Client?
That's what
Because it got disconnected.
Okay, so it is broken, and it should be initiating a restart. Yes.
and you have to
So it is restarting now.
you have to reconnect the restart.
Just log in. Just log in. Yes, just log in. Anwar, do you have two machines? What's happening on this machine?
Yeah, configure it.
You're there now?
Yeah.
10 minutes?
Yes, sir. No, it's taking time.
Android is not that much.
Yes, sir. Just 960 to
For what?
10:30.
Okay. Yes. So while this is rebooting, guys, let's take a 10 minutes, and then right after 10 minutes, I will go straight on.
What is that? The first one? This is the second one. 65. Yeah, it's okay. Once just I have
Just go from there. That's from there. That's
I think you don't need network card. You
We have to run a wizard also.
So,
We need to run a wizard again.
to add in network adoption.
And the network code after we reboot the host and the VCP, it's still not showing it, so we have to do the add networking.
No. Yes, yes, we do. But before that, we'll make sure on network. So go to network adopter. So there it is showing. Then we need, in order to work with this, then we need to run
how much vote?
Those are the log files which create the memory files. When you create, you put when I will create my VM, I put this in there, so it keeps logging. Those files are not the files. And also there are more files. Batch file. That's an important batch file. The files.
Negotiate switch.
What is VMware? What is the VM? Virtual how is it make all combination of files? Just file
But the IP has to
there's a
be
file
this
number
IP.
for the VM. What is VMDC? This definitely the hard drive. This file is definitely BIOS NVMe file. You can live without that too. snapshot file, VMSD, if it is a file, if it is attached, it could be snapshot file, data, VMSN, and snap file. VSWP is a page file. This is also the if you delete those 3 files, 2 files, VM data file, VM data code, we can
But okay, so S6 merge and is now accessing last one.
So for the best is that.
Is that right? So that's a good combination. Or separate from the
No, TTP को भी है ट्रेनिंग भी करना है. It's not too late. No, it's not for too late. मुझे सुबह ने
You don't want
Yeah, they don't make
दोनों साथ ही बैठे
Take a sweet time.
Again, it's not that very good. I think it's architecture. One primary to the throughout Canada. Throughout Canada, how many do they have? Are they actually designed for their sites?
Yeah. So for they can find those actually set, then you can actually automatically update on. But one primary. So one GP covering the whole panel. One GP.
It's really interesting to understand how they do it. Oh, wow. That's the difference.
No, because I have 4 days to my right? Good job. You teach everything out. That was a good price.
No, Rahman.
Yes.
We have 2 8s.
We get 2 8s?
2 8s. 16. Now you have to. I had 2. No. You have 2 4s. Then you replace with 2 8s. So now you have 16.
So I had 2 8s and 2 4s. I had the total 16.
Oh, yeah. You had 2 8s and 2 4s. And you have 4. Now you have 32, right?
Yes, we did that. Yeah. This is 24, so
Yeah, 24 is good. You only need a faster hard drive.
then you have to upgrade it with
What did you buy?
What? Sorry? Question where? What? No, this not really. We have with my team it's 8 people. Eight. Just my team. Mental server team. And then
I was waiting for here that we have to so all the things you can hear
yeah.
Before 5 days,
They can
they can pay they put it
in US. Okay.
So they have so they will use it for technical staff. So we have to be unconfident other way. That means they didn't ask me to code. Especially with
they give it back.
They have been very, very, very nice.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, true. That is what it is. Everybody is trying to cut corners.
Because they were really long, 7, 8 years.
Yep, they want the fresh graduate, fresh people, less money.
That's why they have 5 people. 5, 6, certain people. But yeah, all together was 20.
We have lots of people at all.
But the
Yeah, that's what I'm not talking about. I'm just talking about the mental. In mental, has to be engineering. I'm just talking about not the engineering, just who support. Design. So how big the environment? 3,000? Okay, make a fee. They bought it. Yeah. But that's a marketing, right? Even the Sunoco, they changed Sunoco to Petro. Or the Kosankor. Yeah, but the gas they so that's because Sunco bought Petro Canada. Because Sunco they had their own petrol station, they changed it to Petro Canada.
Yes,
because petrol is
a
people's mind. Petro Canada is the Canadian brand.
But it's long time ago it's not public, then it became public.
Yeah, I remember when I came here in '98, I was selling Bell flats. So going to talking to customers, each people's house and everybody, oh, I am Canadian, I like Bell, I don't want AT&T. So you know what, just as an FYI, Bell was American too. Now it's Canadian. Oh no, because it is here for like this long. Bell is Canadian, it's not American. Yeah, okay, fine, whatever you say. But I'm giving you good price.
But the thing is,
so Canadians are kind of, you know, we are, oh, I want to be Canadian, I want to do something. Yeah. It's now the Burger company bought it, right?
The company and they use
Okay.
before 8%, 8%.
Okay.
It's big.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. No.
Because one stop.
Okay.
7 now it's 8. 5 months.
Oh wow.
But I don't have any screen to connect.
You sell it, so it's 37 to 84. Now it's the time to sell it.
No, it started with $4.
It started with $4.
Yeah, I didn't buy it.
Okay. Yeah.
This is Canadian. These are ours, no?
Which one you had? Cannips. Yeah, Canadian. Cannips 100. Thinking.
I'm
64.
Went up from these days.
Okay.
This is within 2-3 days. We'll say 1 month, 3
6 months.
6 months it was. And see 1 week.
Yeah. So big jump.
62.
Wow. You can see from here, it took straight up.
Even
Yeah.
one day.
Yeah.
See, one day is 20 today. But 1 week is the bigger.
Yeah.
But today it went, because it's within a week it went so much.
So much that. I never played in stocks, so I don't know. Not much.
No, the medical stocks are going up.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I had a bad lesson. The thing is, Nortel was 100.
Yeah. And
I
it
was
just
working in the rest of it. So you can park it in 99 and you take the shuttle bus. So when I was going, me and like two boys, we are playing shop.
okay. For $50. It went to 20. And then it crashed.
But it took time. But it happened. Some days so it went up and down. So I never risked it. But I lost income on that time. About half of the money is started. Not
Yeah. Yep. Well, it's just, yeah, that was a gamble, right? You see your price is going down, just buy it as many as you want, but you never know. I know when there was the Iraq and Kuwait war, everybody was from Kuwait came to Pakistan at that time. We were kids, and I know that the big black cars, the Ford, and everybody was bringing those Kuwaiti cars, and the rum was used to be 100 rupees, and it comes to 75 pesos. People can order. They make money out of it. They make money after, wow, it takes 6 months. After 6 months, it was up, right?
Okay, guys, my ESXi host is started, and all I need to do is to add the network cards. So here, I'll go back to my Windows machine. I'll go back to my Windows machine. First of all, since it was restarted, it is disconnected. It was restarted, it was disconnected. I need to connect back to it again one more time. Here I would use root and the password. As soon as you connect, we would ignore this. Guys, in real environment, if they ever ask you about this, in real environment, if they ever ask you about this, why are you ignoring it? The reason is that if you ignore it, it would still work with a self-signed certificate. It is still secure. It's not that you're ignoring it and it's not secure. It is. But how to fix it for good? We can fix it for good by buying a public certificate or having a CA in our environment, CA in our environment, and then issue a certificate to this machine. But for now, in even real environment, we wouldn't ignore it.
We ignore it. Yeah. We don't
View certificate? This one. Yes, this is again good, but this is again self-signed certificate. It is a you ignore it or you do it, it will still install it. So ignore, and it is not picking up my ESXi host for the reason because now it has two network cards. So let me see that if both of the network cards, and this will happen in real environments as well. Let's see if they are both on the same network. So, I have so many network cards here. But they doesn't matter because this network card is disconnected. Second network card is disconnected, but on power on they are connected. Let me just disconnect them. And I have, this is my newly added card, which is 5. And so let me go back and try again the connection. So now it is loading now. So it is connected. So sometimes really small little issues. So guys, since the network card is added, we can go back to configuration, which is our control panel, just like in Windows. We can go to network adapter. First of all, make sure you should be able to see the next your new card. So I'm able to see 0 and I'm able to see 4 because 1, 2, 3 were already there. I've added 0. In your case, you should have 1 and 0. 0 and 1. You have a question? Okay. So 0 and 1. You have 0 and 1. Now, all you need to do is go back to networking. Now, guys, remember why we are doing this? We are doing this to add more bandwidth to this network card. A bigger pipe. We need to give a bigger pipe for this ESXi host. And all you need to do is you need to go back to networking. Within networking, we go to the properties of this switch. Now remember, I have this switch now. This switch. So this switch basically, this switch has everything what it has. You cannot just add network cards in this. But this feature is in virtual switches. In virtual switches, you can add more bandwidth. So in more bandwidth, what you can do, I can go to the properties of which switch. What is my switch name?
0.
vSwitch 0. So this is my vSwitch 0. You go into the properties of the vSwitch and then go into network adapter. It only shows me 1 because this switch is connected to only 1, although on this host you have 2. So all you need to do is add and then select the new network card. As soon as you go add and select a new network card, and this network card will be connected to vSwitch 0 and next, and it is done. Now I see 2 network cards. So let me do that again one more time. What I did is, one more time. So all I did, restarted the ESXi host, and once it is restarted, I would go to my Windows machine. Within Windows machine, I would go to the switch properties. I would go to networking. Before networking, guys, before networking, I need to make sure I have my network cards. Sometimes even after restart, you don't see the network cards. Why? Because in real, you haven't plugged in the network card properly. Maybe it's not plugged in and you restarted the machine. So you need to go back, shut down, plug it properly, and then come back here. It should show you next. In order to use this card, we need to go into switch properties and we need to go into network adapter. Here in network adapter, it shows me only 1. I should be able to add another network card, which is a new network card, and next, and it is done. Once it is done, it is all good. Now, this is how we add a network card to a host or a storage to a host. This is how we add a disk to a host or a network card to a host.
This is not teaming, right?
This is teaming. We'll be discussing in network talk, but this is actually teaming. This is automatically doing teaming. In Windows, we have to specially configure it. Here, this is automatically done. Although we can do all these settings by going into switch and then do all NIC teaming here, so they are already teamed. Okay. But for now, we're not going there, guys. This is a bit advanced for now. So now we have added the card. Now, guys, let's see what else do we have in this configuration. In this configuration, we saw processors, we saw memory, that we cannot do anything. We saw storage, that we added storage to. So, guys, from now on, if we need more storage, you know how to add a storage. If we need more network cards, we know how to add a network card. It is storage adapter is where you have your all SCSI adapters. So guys, what is the difference between SCSI and IDE? So guys, here, I think we went through this information before, but I'm gonna go through this one more time. Yes.
Just a question with NIC.
Yes.
So we add the VNNIC 1. So it has the same IP with the VNNIC 0.
Yeah. Yes. Why? Because these are just uplinks. Remember?
Yeah.
So they'll be working with the same IP. It will be just a bigger pipe.
So it just creates the bigger pipe with the better bandwidth.
That's it. That is it. These two cards are acting like now a bigger pipe in which now the speed of this server on a network will be 2 gigs.
So it means if we are like using just one cable in the one port and the one is that just an empty port.
No.
So two cables and one.
So in real, it's looking like this. Since you have two network card on the host, I have two cables going out and both cables are connecting to the server. Now both ports are working for one server.
So both NICs have the same IP.
Both NICs are working on same IP address because they are connected to a switch.
We have to configure the configuration in our switch. Like we are using two IPs for the two ports, one IP for two ports.
It is already configured.
It's already configured.
And how is it configured?
No, in the switch, not in the VM.
Oh, in this switch, we'll just leave it as is. Because in switches, these are all standard ports. So if today I connect it to this machine, it will work for this machine. And if I connect two cables from here and connect it to one server, it will just be the double bandwidth.
You know, if in our environment, if we are using the static IPs for the physical servers and the virtual servers,
yes,
it's gonna conflict or not?
It won't conflict in this case. Guys, why? Because in all these environments, guys, the question is valid. Question is, since in real environments, we have on this machine there is one IP address and one cable connected, right? And on this machine there is one cable, one cable connected. Guys, sometimes we think the IP addresses are assigned to ports. No, IP addresses are not assigned to ports, but IP addresses are on the machines. So ports have nothing to do with the IP addresses, although sometimes we statically configure IP addresses on the ports, but most of the time these are all general ports. Wherever you connect, this port will work with this IP address. If you connect it here, now it will start working with this IP address. So now as far as your question goes, if I have two network cards, so this would look like this. It will a switch with two ports, one is connected here, one is connected here. Now it is using one gig from here and one gig from here. So now the speed of this server will be using 2 gigs of speed with one IP address. Yes.
So now in your example, did you actually physically went inside the network card properties and change the IP address or no?
No, I didn't.
Because now when I see in observer IP range,
yes,
I see the same.
Yes. So guys, this is where I said there is more depth to networking. But since you asked, what is observed IP address? Guys, observed IP address is this. As soon as you connect a cable, observed IP address is what subnets this port can reach to. This observed IP address is not the real IP address assigned to this port. It is just saying that now it can reach to these networks. It can now reach to 17 networks. Now, this is actually, it is just seeing what it can reach.
And that's based on the fact that you connected to the same switch, which is VCP-0.
Exactly. So observed range is just that how many network this port can see. If, for example, on this port, it is a VLAN port that can see multiple subnets, the observed range will be bigger. So guys, this is where I'm saying there is more depth to the vSwitching, and later on we're going to go into vSwitching. For now, all we need to remember how to add a network card and how to add a disk. How to add a network card, how to add a disk. Now the next thing is here, as you can see, it is advanced settings. In advanced settings, we don't have to do anything in advanced settings. In power management, it is just showing you some information. Power management, for example, if there is wake on LAN option, for example, you can wake a computer up when it is standby or all that. Those options will be here. But for now, it won't show you anything. Guys, so the most important places that we work on day-to-day basis is storage, networking, storage adapter, and network adapter. And later on in all these lectures, when we do storage, we'll do a lot of work in storage. When we do networking, there will be a lot of work and assignments in networking as well. For now, we need to know these basics. Now, the next thing is under software. So as you can see, it has a hardware and it has a software. In software, it is showing you what type of features are available with this license. So here it is saying it expires on May 1st, number one. It is expired on May 1st. And secondly, that in this version, you can use all these features. For example, this ESXi host. For example, this ESXi host can have FHA, it can have FT, it can have vMotion, it can have VDP, it has vShield zone, it has DRS, it has multipathing. Guys, in fact, in evaluation version, everything is open. But in specific licensing, not everything is open. Now, what type of licensing is there? Now, let's see a licensing for a second here. Now, this is in evaluation license, everything is open. You can test everything, FT, HA, DRS, STRS, but in specific licenses, not everything is open. So in order to see licensing, let's go on to the VMware website. So we'll go on to VMware licensing. Now, if we go to VMware licensing here, as you can see, sorry, VMware, I would say vSphere 5.5. So this is my licensing here. So 5.5. So 5.5, this is version 5. This is again 5. Yes, here. So here, so it's saying this is vCloud actually. This is 5. So let's look at 5.1. It is almost the same in 5.5. So vSphere, number one, vSphere is one product or suite of products? It is suite of products. In vSphere, there are many products. So guys, vSphere comes in these licensing. Number one, just like Windows 2008 Server, how many licenses would it come in? Standard and Enterprise and Data Center. Standard, Enterprise, Data Center. So same thing, it comes in Essentials version, then you have Essential Plus version, then you have Standard version, then you have Enterprise, and then you have Enterprise Plus version. And as you can see, the smallest one is Essentials version, and in this you have hypervisor. It does thin provisioning, it has update manager, but this does not have any advanced feature. Essential version does not have FT, it does not have vMotion, it does not have DRS, it does not have VDS switch. And as you can see, Essential Plus does not have these features. Essential Plus also does not have FT. And what has FT? It starts with Standard. Standard has FT and vMotion, but Standard does not have DRS and DPM. And as you can see, Enterprise has DRS, DPM, FT and everything, but Enterprise does not have distributed switch. Right? As you can see, the more you go, the more features it has. So here, the most expensive one is Enterprise Plus, and Enterprise Plus has everything. So guys, based on these features, as soon as you go into this place, as soon as you go here, it would show you licensing feature. If it is Essentials, it won't show you all these options. It would show you only those options that are available. So guys, when you are in a new environment, when you are on which environment? New environment. Rehan, when you are in a new environment, guys, this is one of my responsibility to understand the environment. Most of these environments, they don't have proper documentation. So don't rely on their documentation. Log into these servers, go into these settings and start documenting that 3 ESXi hosts that are sitting in Montreal, what type of licenses are sitting there and till what time when are they expiring. So this is your responsibility. When they expire, the management would come to you and you cannot tell them, oh, this guy didn't let me know. I mean, this is your responsibility. You should get this information, either ask or find. Yes, there are two options. Yes.
The evaluation, the production licenses, they never expire. They don't have an expiry date. Only the evaluation licenses.
Okay, so production environment, they don't.
Yeah, in the purchase license, they never expire. So you will not see a expiry date.
Okay, so but they have to pay yearly.
That is a different.
That's so the volume license.
Yeah, this is for training.
Yes. So this is excellent, guys. Ijaz sitting here, he used to work for VMware, so he has more information than me when it comes to licensing and everything. So that's fine. We'll take your word. Production licenses, they don't have expiry date, but what I know is they yearly have to pay. Sometimes they pay 5 years, and sometimes they have to pay yearly. Guys, in any case, as being technical person, my responsibility is that, for example, if a FT task is given to you, first of all, see. Now, how many things do you need to check for FT? Number one, if CPU is compatible. On hardware side, you need to check. And secondly, can your version of ESXi, does it support FT or not? So the second thing is this. So guys, this is how we are building our knowledge. This is how we are building our knowledge base. So please remember this. Second thing is time configuration. Yes.
So to start on what it's support, it also has to be the same family for everyone, right?
It is.
It has to be the same family.
It has to be the
Same family.
of CPUs.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
It's not only what it's for. It has to be the same.
It has to be the same family. Yes, you're 100% right. And that we'll be discussing in vMotion and everything. But yes, you're right. When it comes to vMotion, among hosts, they have to be the same family as well. If one host is Intel, the second has to be Intel. If one is MD, second is AMD. Both have to be AMD. So CPU has to be same as well. Guys, the second important function is time zone. Guys, here, time configuration. Now guys, here, this is a very important point to remember. Point number one about time configuration. Point number one about time configuration. Guys, whatever, by default, whatever the time on host is, by default, whatever the time on host is, this time is automatically given to all VMs inside. So whatever your time on host is, so host says it is 10 p.m. All these VMs will automatically get time from this. Automatically get from. So for all VMs inside the host, they're automatically configured with this time. Now, here is where your Active Directory knowledge clashes with with ESXi environment. In Active Directory, which role of Active Directory is responsible for time sync? PDC emulator. Good remembering. PDC emulator. In complete Active Directory environment, guys, all these VMs that are Windows VMs, they are joined to Active Directory. They should all be getting time from the PDC emulator. But as soon as host is first time created and you start adding these machines will start getting time from here. Now, so in order to fix this issue, because if your host time is wrong, then VM time is wrong as well. And VMs cannot log in. When your DC time is different and your VM time is different, you will be getting login issues. Not only login issues, your backups will fail. Because backups are working with Active Directory time. Your backups will fail, your monitoring will fail, your security settings will fail, everything will fail. Because if the time is not synced between Active Directory and this. In order to fix this, what we do is we connect host timing with the PDC emulator. This is what I did. For NTP server, I pointed it to my domain controller. So now the host automatically connects to PDC emulator, takes whatever time is there, and then if it needs to, it can send this time to this. But your question is, whose question is?
Your question.
Your question is, guys, your question is, since this machine is already joined to Active Directory, why would it listen to the host? It is joined to Active Directory, it would listen to the host, right? When a machine is joined to Active Directory, it would always follow PDC emulator. This machine won't follow any other machine. But guys, yes, for this machine, it is fine. But for other machines that are not joined to Active Directory, they will automatically start following the host. So then sometimes when the machines are restarting, they would, during a restart time, their time zone is set with the host time zone. And then sometimes Windows. So bottom line is, if this time source is not correct, it will it will affect your environment. So for that reason, here in this, all you need to do when you select NTP server, go to the properties. Within properties, all you need to do in NTP client enable, and here you need to go to the options, and here in NTP settings, you would, in NTP settings, you just add your Active Directory server. One more time, what I need to do is, if you need to direct it to your Active Directory, all you need to do is go to host, go to configuration, go to time configuration, and then go to properties here. Within properties, go to options, and then go to NTP settings. And then here you would add, and just add the IP address of your Active Directory server. That's it.
So basically, you are syncing the ESXi host with the Active Directory time.
Exactly.
Not individual VMs.
Not individual VMs. VMs are already with Active Directory.
Yeah, and if it is not even then, it will take the
Exactly. Yes. So this is what we are doing. NTP timing. So my question to you is that, yes, okay, so ESXi host is pointing to PDC, but where is PDC pointing to? Where is PDC pointing to? How do you fix the PDC timing? Guys, PDC is pointing to Internet NTP servers. PDC is pointing to already Internet NPT server. Now, the NTP server. There are many NTP servers online. So we would, in PDC, we would point it to Internet NTP server.
Microsoft.time.com.
Exactly. You can go to that and get those NTP servers. So guys, this is our second setting. So we went through features, we went through time configuration. Next is DNS and routing. Guys, DNS and routing, do you remember doing these settings in ESXi host?
Yes, so we just have configuration in the DNS.
Exactly. We did these settings.
In the host.
How many of you are logged into this screen, guys? How many of us are here? Who is not here on this screen? So I know Human is not here. You're not here? Why it's not working?
No, I all installed Active still today.
Okay. Okay, guys. So here, DNS routing, this is the same thing that we do in ESXi host. So if you go to ESXi host here, you go to ESXi host. What? Huh? Oh man, never panic. Never panic. Even in most panicking situation, smile. Even if and panic inside. Or you're always panicking inside. And then your manager and directors are sitting in the here, and it's working fine. And sometimes sweat, you cannot control the sweat, and then sweat, and one more thing that you cannot control. From this, they would know, oh, something is wrong. So don't panic, Nadeem. Nadeem, is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. Let me close down your machine and check that. How do you panic? Okay. So guys, here. Now we did the DNS settings here. Remember? We did the DNS settings. Same DNS settings can be done from here. So DNS and routing, all you need to do, go to here, change the host name, change the domain name, change the IP address, change the FQDN. Everything that you did from F2 can be done from here as well. Right? So it can be done from here. Second thing, authentication services. If we ever need to connect it to Active Directory, if we need to connect it to Active Directory and use Active Directory authentication, we would need to go ahead and add Active Directory to this. Now, for now, it is configured with local authentication.
Yeah, you can set the.
It is local authentication. You can go to properties, and then you can change it to Active Directory and change it to domain. Just like you join Windows machines to domain, this is how you join here as well. Best practices, yes, we'll be configuring Active Directory. Why? Because Active Directory has all users database. If you don't do this, then you'll have to create new users on each host. For that reason, we would use connected to Active Directory and then use Active Directory account that are already there, and will follow the same permissions standards in Windows. In permission standards, we never assign permission directly to a user. What do? We create a groups. We create groups: DLG, GG, and user. DLG, GG, and user. So that DLG is directly connected to the host permissions, and then all you need to do in Active Directory, add users there, and they'll get the access. You will never have to go onto ESXi level and do it. So we'll get back to this, but for now we need to remember, whenever we need Active Directory authentication, we need to come to this location. Yes.
We are using this for the Windows credentials, like when client then log into the VMs.
Exactly. No. This is to manage the host through Windows credentials. For now, you're managing the host through root credentials, right?
That's the client logging.
Yes. So this is what are the people who have full access to this? What Active Directory people? So if you need to add, for example, Rahmat Ahmed are part of Active Directory. If you need to give them full ESXi access, first make it part of Active Directory, then give them access.
Then give them access from our OUs.
From OUs, exactly. And later on, we'll be doing that. So here, again, you have VM shutdown and restart.
Okay, so here we connected client with the Active Directory.
The VM with Active Directory?
Yeah, on the client. Here we connected client with the Active Directory, right?
Which client?
On the screen.
Which this client?
No. This client.
Which client? No, you're talking about ESXi host?
No.
Agent defined.
V client.
Oh, you mean the vSphere client? So vSphere client, I logged in with root and connected to.
Yeah, and here in the previous screen you connected this with the Active Directory.
Yes, in this screen I was connecting the host to Active Directory.
Which host?
So here. So this is my vSphere client, right? So guys, this is my vSphere client. Let's understand Active Directory. This is my vSphere client. All I need to do is that I would install a new machine, new Windows server, and then on this machine, I'm going to install Active Directory, DC, and DNS. And now on this server, I have many users. Let's say I have user 1, user 2, user 3. And you're deciding that this user would be a VM admin user. So you need this guy to manage your all ESXi host. So in order to do this, we need to do these. First of all, connect it with Active Directory. How do you connect this host with Active Directory so that it can start understanding these users? This is exactly what I'm doing here. I go to Authentication Services, I go to Properties, and here I would choose Domain, change it to Domain, and as soon as it is changed, now this machine is connected to Active Directory. Next time, for now I was logging in from root account, right, from here, and since it is joined, now I can also log in with user 2.
Which is more practice.
Okay, so first you connected individual VM with the Active Directory.
Individual host to Active Directory.
ESXi host.
Yes.
And then for managing your.
And then directly from this user, you can log into the host. For now, the only person that can log into the host is root account. Other than root account, nobody can log in, because that's the only account that can log into the host. If you need Active Directory users to log into the host, so you need to first add it, and then they would be able to join.
Can we add local admins on host other than root? Create an additional.
Yes, they can be added. So local admin of this machine can be added to this. Yes. And I'll show you where. Okay, so guys, here authentication services. So question is, how do you add Active Directory to host? Where do you go and add Active Directory to host? To host, configuration, and authentication services. Guys, this is how you should remember these. So that number 1, host, I can hear everyone, guys. Host, configuration, and authentication services. Host, configuration, authentication services. How do you add a storage? Host, configuration, and storage. How do you add networking? Host, configuration, networking. Guys, this is very important to try it, say it. Because otherwise it's a huge information, but it's not huge as long as you're doing practical. Question?
Can you add it and try for?
What? You won't be able to follow me, so I want to do it with everyone once. So in the next lecture, guys, please have an Active Directory server as well. So this is assignment. So everybody have it? It was not part of the assignment, but some of the people, they might not have it. So guys, in the next lecture, add a Active Directory and then we'll add it. It's not an issue. It's just 2 minutes. Guys, next one is VM shutdown and restart. VM shutdown and restart. So you can restart shutdown VMs right from here, or you can also directly go from here as well. Other than this, VM swap file location. What is a swap file? It is like a paging file. Number one. What is the function of swap file? It helps the memory. It's a memory helper. So memory uses paging file. What is the thumb rule for this?
1.5. It's on the page file should be 1.5 of the actual memory.
Page file should be 1.5 of the memory. Page file should be 1.5. Guys, give him a hand. Excellent. So Talha, excellent. Since you wanted to give him a hand. So we wanted, so that, yes, this is one, but there was another one, guys. There was another one as well. Whenever paging file or swap file is using more than the memory, it's time for your host should be upgraded. It's time your memory should be either upgraded or fix your applications. So in all environments, we would see if swap file is not used much. If swap file is used more than the memory, then it means either you have a problem with the host memory, or your applications are using too much RAM, or your application are heavier for your host. Or it could be memory leak as well. So security profile. Guys, security profile is also very important. Security profile is that what services are running on this at the moment. Among all hundreds of services, these services are running right now. So SSH is running on this, Shell is running on this, VPXA is running on this. VPXA. Guys, VPXA. In among these, VPXA is the most important to remember now. Guys, VPXA is the agent that works between vSphere client and ESXi host. So it is an agent or an agent that works between ESXi host and vSphere client. VPXA service here. It's right here. VPXA. So VPXA, if it is not running, if this service is not running, then you have lost connection between your ESXi host and your vSphere client. You cannot manage a machine if this service is not running. So VPXA is the main connection agent that runs between a ESXi host and a vSphere client. Now, if VPXA is down, then your vCenter cannot manage it. So VPXA is a very important component of ESXi host. It's just a service.
Windows
it's a service that, no, it's the ESXi host service.
So how are we gonna manage
Remember
it?
here?
Yeah.
Remember you have services in ESXi host?
Yeah.
Yes. So how do you restart it? How do you fix it?
Yeah.
Guys, in order to fix it, since we are Microsoft Pro, Microsoft Gurus. The very first try we're gonna do is restart the ESXi. No. It's really dangerous. Restarting it.
Stop the service and
Guys, sometime if VPXA is not working, then what you can do is you can restart the management service on that host. So you can go to your ESXi host. Within ESXi host, you will log in, and you will go directly to password. And here you would see right here, restart management network.
But for that, you need a domain root admin password, which normally people don't give.
Yes, but as being a VM admin, you will have it. You will have it in a password repository somewhere. So since you're fixing it, you must have it.
it's stopped in the
Here.
property.
VPXA
Stopped.
in the
We are still connected with the
VPXA service. So which property?
go in the property. Go in the vSphere client.
Everything is
Go in the property. VPXA stop. No, it's running. But ours is stopped, but it's still very connected with the
so okay, so to go here,
Abnormal ESXi. What can I say? It's not normal.
Okay. So this ask it here, as it running? Running? Stop.
No, it's not abnormal, guys. It's not abnormal. It's fine, but VPXA is the agent service that works between ESXi and vSphere client and vCenter. Now it is stopped.
Start and stop. No, we can start.
Yeah, it started. I put it the option and started.
See here it says this package has VIB contains all the best functionality of vSphere ESXi. Maybe in 5.5 it is more for vCenter as opposed to vSphere client. It could be because I have a vCenter installed here. So maybe it is for vCenter. For vCenter, 100% it is required.
We can start it through option. No?
It is started.
Yeah.
It can be start. I know it can be started and stopped, but the reason why it is stopped for you, maybe it is. We can check that out. But for vCenter, it is must. So guys, for now, for interviews, we need to remember it's an agent service that works between ESXi, vSphere, vCenter. Yes.
Okay, I see we are connected.
Otherwise it won't be stopped because there is an option with that. It's stopped with the host.
Okay.
Like our host is stored in a sleep mode.
In a sleep mode.
We have to click it and it's automatically runs.
It starts running. Yes. So guys, VPXA is one service. Then there are other services. The next important thing here is firewall settings. So as you can see, if ever network security team comes to you and they ask you which firewall ports are required for ESXi environment, you would tell them these are the ports that are required. So for example, they would need for fault tolerance, it is these ports: 8000, 8100, 8200, 8300. For SNMP, it is 161. For web access, it's 80. SSH 22. So if they ever ask you, so why would they ask you? Sometimes when you need to configure open ports on firewall for some specific ESXi host, you would need to know how many ports would you need. For example, if you need FT in your environment, for FT, these are the ports required. Now here it is just giving you the port information. For DHCP, it is, as you can see, it is 546, and for client it is 68. So mostly this is just information for us. We don't normally change it based on the license you have, based on the features you have. Those ports needs to be configured on the router. So this is your firewall information, just a firewall information. Next one, host configuration cache. configuration, it just shows you the how many disks are connected here, what is your free space and everything. Again, just information here. You can add rescan host as well. System resource allocation, CPU, memory, how much it is being used, agent, VM settings, and advanced settings. In advanced settings, give you some more information, guys. In other words, in other words, configuration tab is a very important tab for the host. So if configuration tab, we need to do storage, networking, adapter. We need to know where to go and find all this information. Next one is local users and group. These are the users who have access on this host. So you have root user, which is right here. Then you have VPX user. Guys, VPX user is the user that works with VPX service. So wherever is VPX, it is agent service. So basically, this is a system user. We don't change it. We don't use it. vCenter uses it when it communicates with this host. So as you can see, it is VMware vCenter administrator account. It is, then you have DCUI. It is direct console user access user interface. So DCUI stands for direct console user interface. Direct console user interface. Guys, among all these users, the only users we are using is root user. Other than these users, you have groups, and within groups you won't find any groups. So this works with roles. So these users, now let's see. This is a root user. What type of access it has? The root user has admin access. It is part of the admin role. Guys, in vCenter it will be more clear. So in vCenter we'll be going into more user details here. In events, these are just events, whatever is happening on this server. So we went into these settings. It was restarted. It was now DCUI. What is DCUI? Guys, whenever, yes, whenever we log into this screen, it means you're using DCUI. DCUI, direct console user interface. This is a direct console user interface.
That's the ESXi.
ESXi host. On a ESXi host, when you do F2, remember? F2. And then you use root account, this is, you're doing a DCUI. And when you're going through vSphere client, this is not DCUI. There is VCUI. It is vSphere client or vCenter. Yes. So direct console access is here. Yes. So DCUI, and in Wakar's dictionary, it is VCUI.
In Windows, it's CMD.
And last one is permissions. So permissions actually show us that root has administrator role. Root is part of administrator role. DCUI is also administrator role. VPX user is also administrator role. So guys, this is our ESXi host. Guys, since we are right at the end of the day here, I would strongly suggest or request, guys, try to complete video 3 and video 4. For vCenter install, it's all step-by-step, guys. If you are prepared from before, this all information will be more easier to catch. Now, part 1, part 2, for all of you who have not done part 1, part 2, please do part 1, part 2. It is very simple. Windows Server, ESXi installation, IP installation, then there is a full video for just exploring ESXi.
This is already done, right?
No. This is we done it today. We haven't done it last time.
Can you add me to the group, please? So
I will just now. I'll add you and add you. So guys here.
Me too.
Guys, how many of you can do video 3 and 4, guys? Please. Because it will be. Main idea is that we need to have this on fingertips. Guys, we're not here. We're not here to just listen and just add words to our vocabulary. No, we need to have this on our fingertips. You won't be able to do the last project if you don't understand this. So excellent, very good. Good night, guys. And if you have any issues, send me messages and I'll respond back to them.
Okay, I'll do phone number.
I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link. And I'll upload them in daily model. Okay? You should let me know so that they won't miss it. You will know that they will be I will. So you have to. Are you okay with part 1, part 2? I mean, all this will be there. Even considering GSXI, VCP-DCV. Okay, but next is Sure, I will. I have to add you, I have to add Ijaz, I have to add Convert and Nasser.
Thank you.
You didn't get it? Really?
No.
So okay. Huh? No, WhatsApp. You're not in track 2, so I'll add you to track 3. Okay? See you.
Shutting down? Let's.
Maybe check it whether
No,
sometimes you can slide it here.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Really nice lecture.
Thank you.
So it's really good.
आपने मुझे ईमेल किया?